One day in the car after school, my daughter said something that completely caught me off guard. She said, "I think after I graduate from primary class, I'm going to homeschool." And the strange part was, we actually loved her Montessori school. I remember laughing and telling my husband later, and just, who does she think is going to homeschool her? Because it's definitely not going to be me. But over time, that idea started to grow into something real for our family. So in this video, I want to share why we chose Montessori in the first place, what worked really well for us, what started to feel like it wasn't quite the right fit anymore, and why we ultimately decided to transition into a Waldorf-inspired homeschool instead. Even before our first child was born, my husband and I had already suspected that we probably weren't going to go the traditional public school route. For a few years, I had quietly followed our local school district's Facebook page just to get a sense of the culture and what was going on in the schools. And from what I saw, it didn't really seem like the right fit for our family. Then our daughter was born, and very quickly we realized that we had a very independent little person on our hands. One of her earliest words was self. She would run around saying self, self, self all the time. So we knew independence was going to be an important part of how she learned. My husband was already familiar with Montessori education before we even had kids, so that was the first approach we started researching. I had only vaguely heard of Montessori before. My childhood best friend had gone to a Montessori preschool and grew up to be extremely successful and educated, so at the very least, it didn't seem like it had harmed her. So I started digging into it. The more I researched education philosophies, the more options I discovered. And of course, I did what any exhausted new mom with ADHD does during a pandemic. I went down the rabbit hole. It was overwhelming. Another interesting thing about where we live is that we actually had a lot of options. It wasn't a situation where there was just one Montessori school and that was it. There were all kinds of different schools and approaches available. And the truth is, I liked different aspects of many of them. I loved the beauty and rhythm of Waldorf, and I loved the independence and carefully sequenced academic progression of Montessori. But when we thought about our own home life, it was already very creative and flexible. I'm an artist. I enjoy knitting, sewing, baking bread, making music. Honestly, our home life already felt pretty Waldorfy. So we thought Montessori might actually provide a really nice balance by giving her structure and order during the day. So we toured quite a few schools where it was pretty clear that they were Montessori mostly in name only, but we eventually found a school that was very authentic. The classrooms used the traditional materials, the curriculum progression was carefully followed, and the guides were very clearly well experienced. Our daughter absolutely thrived there. She adored her guides. We made wonderful friendships with other families, and overall, it was a genuinely great experience. For a long time, we thought Montessori was going to be our long-term plan. Our daughter was doing well, she loved her school, we loved the community, but slowly things started to shift, and that homeschool seed had already been planted in my mind. During school breaks, when she was younger, we started doing little homeschool days together just for fun. At first, it was very simple, circle time, storytelling, little hand plays, things like that. Things I had learned from some Waldorf-inspired early childhood programs that we had attended. But over time, it started growing into something more structured. During different breaks and weekends, we began working through actual homeschool curricula together. We did the entire Math with Confidence kindergarten program, just because she really loves math. We worked through Logic of English Foundations A. We did pretty much all of Blossom and Root Level 0. And a lot of this happened during school breaks, long weekends, or summer, because I found that the structure helped me and it also helped her. The days where we were just flowing around, not really knowing what to do, that's when things fell apart for us. At some point, I realized something kind of funny. Without really intending to, I had basically gathered an entire kindergarten year of homeschool material, and we were actually using it all. And the more we did together, the more I realized something surprising. Not only did she love learning with me, but I actually loved teaching her too. That was the moment when homeschooling stopped feeling like some abstract idea and started feeling like something that might actually be possible for our family. Around that same time, she also started asking more and more about homeschooling. She kept asking if we could do homeschool days. Eventually, she started saying she wanted to homeschool all the time, and at the same time, she was beginning to feel some stress around certain lessons at school. One day in the car, she said something that really stuck with me. She said, "It's not fair. To do the craft at the end of the school day, you have to finish 3 challenging lessons, but I can never finish 3 lessons because I get distracted, so I'll never get to do the craft." And that honestly broke my heart a little. She was doing very well academically, but it was becoming clear that something about the environment just wasn't working for her anymore. Around this time, we were navigating some attention challenges with her. One of her guides mentioned that sometimes a math lesson that took most children part of a work period could take her several days to complete. And it's not because she didn't understand it, but because she would drift off, get distracted, or make little mistakes that required restarting, which led to a moment that ended up being really eye-opening for me. One day, I decided to try something. I ordered the exact same math material that they were using at school. I set it up at our table and told her I was just going to sit beside her and observe. No help, no teaching. And she completed the entire lesson in just a few minutes. That moment made me realize something really important. Being able to sit next to her and gently keep her on task made an enormous difference. And that, again, started to reinforce the idea that homeschooling could be a real possibility instead of just an abstract idea. At the same time, I was continuing to read more about Waldorf education, and the more I learned, the more it felt like something just clicked. The rhythm of the seasons, storytelling as a foundation for learning, the integration of art into almost every subject, the block method where you dive deeply into the subject for just a few weeks, it all made intuitive sense to me. Being pagan, the seasonal rhythm of Waldorf also resonated deeply with how we already live at home, celebrating the solstices, equinoxes, and the natural cycle of the year. When my daughter first said that she wanted to homeschool, I truly didn't think I could do it. I told my husband many times that homeschooling required a very specific skill set, and I wasn't sure I had it. Montessori has been a wonderful experience for our daughter, and our youngest is still in Montessori school, and we plan to keep her there for about the same length of time before she comes home to homeschool with us too, hopefully. Even though we're leaving Montessori school, there are so many things from that philosophy that we'll keep. Independence, practical life skills like cooking and baking, grace and courtesy lessons, following the child's interests when they show curiosity about something. We won't be bringing the physical Montessori materials into our homeschool, but the habits and mindset she developed there are incredibly valuable. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to follow along with our fledgling homeschool journey, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.